Hello students, how are you all? Hope you all are fine. So today we are going to begin with the topic in the grammar, that is kinds of sentences. Now children, what do you mean by sentence? A sentence is a group of words that makes complete sense. Yes, a sentence is a group of words that makes complete sense. A sentence is being divided into two parts, that is subject and the predicate, which you all have learned already in the lower classes. So today we are going to begin with what? With kinds of sentences. So children, here are the four kinds of sentences. First of all, assertive sentence, imperative sentence, interrogative sentence, and exclamatory sentence. Now, you have to remember that whenever you begin with writing of a sentence, it should always begin with a capital letter. And then there are four types. So here we are going to learn is assertive sentence. Assertive sentence or declarative sentence. An assertive sentence states or declares something. So here we also say it is declarative sentence or assertive sentence. An assertive sentence states or declares something. It can be affirmative or negative. That means in a sentence, if there is, for example, I like to eat chocolate. I do not like to eat chocolate. In the first sentence, it was affirmative. And in the second sentence, as it contains no, so it is a negative sentence. I was, it was a boring film. It was not a boring film, as given in this example. So, in the affirmative sentence, what we see is there is no negative or no as such mention in it. And in negative sentence, what we will have? That we'll have no or not. The negative sentence contains words like no, not, none, nothing, never, etc. So, a negative sentence will contain words. Repeat after me. It will be no, not, none, nothing, never. And then we'll move ahead with the imperative sentence. Now, what do you mean by imperative sentence? Now, imperative sentence makes a request or gives a command or an instruction. It can be affirmative or negative and always ends with a full stop. Now, assertive sentence will also end with a full stop. Here also imperative sentence, it is what? It is a request or a command or an instruction. It can be both the ways. It can be either affirmative or negative, and it will always end with a full stop. Clear the table immediately. It is what? Instruction. But it is affirmative. Be quiet, please. Affirmative. Don't hurry. See, here came na. Don't hurry. So it is a negative. An imperative sentence does not have a subject. The subject you is understood. Here, what they are trying to tell is that imperative sentence, whenever we give command or whenever we give some instruction, it is understood that I am instructing to you. So here, the subject you is understood, and the imperative sentence Giving negative information generally begins with don't or do not. Do not sit here. Do not call me. Don't eat too much of chocolates. So whenever don't or do not such words are used, it is negative form of imperative sentence followed by giving any instructions or requesting. So let's move to the third form of sentence, that is the interrogative. Now an interrogative sentence asks a question. It can be affirmative or negative and always ends with a question mark. Interrogative sentence always asks a question, and it can be affirmative also, it can be negative also. Negative means what? It will have no in it and always ends with what? Question mark. For example, who gave you this book? See, I am asking you a question. Who gave you this book? So in this, as no is not there, so it is affirmative. Are you coming for the picnic? Again, I am asking something. So it is again affirmative and interrogative affirmative. Shouldn't we wait? Shouldn't. Whenever such a word is used, shouldn't, that is, it is apostrophe, na? Shouldn't, in the should not, we shall wait, the meaning is should not. So here, shouldn't we wait, negative form. Why didn't you take me along? Again, negative. Why didn't you take me along? Now, most interrogative sentences begin with WH words. How do they begin? They begin with WH words such as who, what, when, where, how. Some interrogative sentences begin with the helper's verb such as is, are, does, has, etc. So here WH question will include everything, and then some interrogative sentence also begin with isn't the flower beautiful? Aren't we going for a picnic? So here the interrogative sentence will ask some question. It can be both affirmative or negative, and it will always end with a question mark. Now coming to the fourth form of the sentence, that is the exclamatory sentence. Now what do you mean by exclamatory sentence? An exclamatory sentence expresses some sudden or strong feelings. It can be affirmative or negative. It always ends with an exclamation mark. It always ends with what? With the exclamation mark. For example, what a beautiful rainbow. Affirmative. How big this garden is. Affirmative. How dare you not tell me the truth. See, in this example, not is coming. So, not is a negative. Never have I seen such a terrible sight. Again, never, no, it is all negative. So, the subject and the verb, subject about whom we are going to talk, we are going to give information about the subject, and then the verb in the exclamatory sentence either occur at the end of a sentence or are completely left out. They can be either at the end of the sentence or they are completely left out, means they are not taken into consideration. For example, if I talk about this, what a beautiful rainbow. Here we are speaking about the rainbow. So here the subject is coming at the end. What a beautiful rainbow. So that means it is indeed a very beautiful rainbow. How big the garden is? Again, the garden is very big. So we are here, the subject is at the end. Now Once again, we'll repeat it. That means all the four forms of the sentences. Assertive sentence will end with a full stop. Imperative sentence will also end with a full stop. Interrogative sentence will end with a question mark. And exclamatory sentence will end with the exclamatory mark. And assertive, imperative, interrogative and exclamatory, these all will be how these four sentences will have both. That means it can be negative or it can be assertive. Now assignment time. Children, here question number 1 is given. Now in this question, what is being written? Write what kind of sentence each of the following is, and also write if it is affirmative, write down A, or negative, write down N. And the first one has been done as an example. Ravi was a very strong player. So here it is assertive sentence. It is just a statement without the word of negative. So it is assertive, and you in the bracket you will write down A. While solving this question number 1, you are supposed to what? You are supposed to first of all identify which kind of sentence it is, and then after identifying the sentence, if it has an exclamatory mark, then it is exclamatory sentence. If it has a question mark, then it will be interrogative sentence. And if it gives some instructions or some command or request, then it is imperative. But imperative and the assertive sentence will end with the full stop, and the other will have question mark for interrogative and exclamatory mark for an exclamatory sentence. So here you will identify first of all that what kind of sentence is here, and then in the bracket you will write down whether it is assertive or whether it is negative. For negative you will write down N, and for assertive you will write down, what you will write down? For affirmative A, and for negative N. Okay children? Now coming to the second question, do as directed. Now in this do as directed, here what are we supposed to do? Here we are going to rewrite. What instructions are given? Rewrite the following assertive sentences as exclamatory sentence. We are going to rewrite the assertive sentence or the declarative sentence as exclamatory. Now, one thing you have to keep in your mind is that while rewriting the sentence from assertive to exclamatory, the meaning of the sentence should not change. The meaning should remain as it is. Now you will tell me how the meaning will remain as it is. So let us look at the first example. Sage Dadichi was a noble person. It is completely which type of sentence? Assertive sentence. And it is what? It is affirmative. Now, when we are interchanging the assertive into exclamatory, what a noble person Sage Dadichi was. Now, what are we here doing? We are transforming the sentence into exclamatory one, where with a surprise, with a sudden feelings and expressions we are going to write down. So here what we did, here the subject will come at the end as we had learned in exclamatory sentence, followed by the what? Followed by the exclamatory mark at the end. So these two examples you have to solve on your own, where the sentence will end with the exclamatory mark, and you have to keep in mind that where the subject or the verb will come. So hope you all have understood what are the types of the sentences, what are the kinds of the sentences, and at the end was the from assertive sentence to change into exclamatory sentence. Thank you, students. God bless you all.